Welcome everyone, today we have a new build guide for Season 2 Diablo 4. And yes, this is a Necromancer build for tier 100. And also, this is also a build for boss slaying. So what I want to show you guys is, I'm going to show you guys a bit of the replays of the build in tier 100, which you can see that we have no problem going through the dungeon. We move very fast, we deal lots of damage, we're very durable in terms of, unkillableness with the Blood Mist, and also we have lots of cooldown reduction. Notice that our Blood Mist goes off city very quickly, with lots of cooldown reset. We have almost no cooldowns if you just proc a few hits. And yeah, the build is very wonderful, and the build is very speedy. So if you're clearing higher level tier 9 dungeons, this is definitely the build to try out. Now, of course, I know what you guys are thinking. Hey Matt, this is just a Blood Mist build, right? Well, yes, it is a tier 100 Blood Mist build at level 92, which works perfectly, at around level 90 or 80. But what I want to show you guys is how fast I can solo the boss or kill the boss. So this is a level 75 Rasharian, and I killed it in about 10 seconds. So just to show you guys again, there's those really nice combinations of skill and choices which allows me to kill bosses very, very fast. So this build is an all-in-one build that I want to provide to you guys. So you can be doing 9-man dungeons, you can be doing any content in the overworld, and also kill bosses super fast for the endgame farming for any of your Uber items. Now, similar to all of our videos, my build will be posted on Mobilityx, so make sure you come over here and check it out with the Paragon's items of choices and also additional notes on the gears and also what stats are looking for. And you can also come over to my portfolio to see what other builds I'll be making as well. So what I started to realize is I don't have to go through the gears in details because I'll put it on the builds guide as well. So in this part of the video, what I want to do is I actually want to just briefly talk about the gears and what are the rooms to upgrade and what gears are looking for and the reasons behind the gears. And then we go through the skill trees on the Paragons, just briefly on some of the adjustments and also changes. I realize it's good. So you can follow the build guide to see everything, but I want to give you guys additional information and explanations on the build. Well, right away on the build, you do want lucky hit chance whenever you can on the helmet and on the offhand. We're using a focus offhand to provide ourselves with more cooldowns and multiple ways of getting lucky hit. Any form of shadow damage reduction is really good on the focus as well. So focus and helmet, we can get some lucky hit and also some cooldown reduction. This is very good. Now in terms of the weapon, I really recommend going with a wand for the reason that you're getting a 15% lucky hit proc. The reason that we're getting so many lucky hit is that if I come back over to the fights of the game, one of the reasons is as you hit monsters, your lucky hit proc will be proccing to lower cooldowns of all of your skills. So one thing I forgot to mention that is that this particular skill, so let me get out of the month. Off the month we go. So this particular skill, the Creepify, it has provided you with a debuff for enemies with a lucky hit chance of 15% to reduce your cooldowns by 1 second whenever you deal damage. Previously I thought you just have to spam this spell, but you just have to debuff once, then any of your spell that does damage will be proccing the lucky hit to lower your cooldowns. This is one of the reasons in this particular build, notice my cooldown just gets reset very fast. This includes my ultimate, my corpse tendril, my blood mist. Everything gets reset super fast, so I have almost infinite rotations when there's lots of monsters. Together with the corpse tendril, we're disabling enemies, we're going to blood mist form, we're casting ultimates, we're doing everything we wanted because of the lower cooldowns with a lucky hit perk. So now that we focus on the lucky hit, the second thing we want to focus on is a little bit of survivability. I recommend getting total armor and also maximum life and also close damage reduction and shadow damage reduction whenever you can on your gears, just to be a little survivable. And you can see this is on my chest, and I got a little bit of fortify reduction on the pants. Fortify is okay, but it is not the best skill or best stats. Fortify and distance are suboptimal. You do want maximum life and armor over here, so this is not the best pants for my build. Now, as for the helmet, it's pretty straightforward. I can also get maximum life over the poison resistance, and this will help as well. And one of the ways to juggle your resistance, of course, you guys know, is to socket different gems. In terms of the boots, there's something very interesting about the boots. We'll save it for a little bit later. So in terms of the rings, the unique item is pretty straightforward. Getting a good roll on this one is similar to getting a good roll on the gloves. I'm not using the unique weapon yet because I think it actually lowers the damage, which I'll explain in a future video. So right now using the round is actually the best for the Blood Mist. You can easily get a 900 over round because of farming the bosses. In terms of amulet, you kind of want to balance damage and also defensiveness. So here we have damage reduction, we have lots of damage, so this is more leaning towards damage over the defensiveness. You can also have close damage reduction and also cooldown reduction. In terms of the rings, I'm actually going for two choices. This is my damage ring with lucky chance, close damage, and a variety of ways of doing damage. This is my defensive ring with maximum life and also lucky hit. Those are very important on your rings if you have to go defensive. So always have lucky hit. Other than that, you can have close damage, maximum life, damage over time, or shadow damage. Now finally, onto the boots. So there's something special about the boots. This is not an even max rolled movement speed boost, but notice that it has the movement speed boost after killing elites, has movement speed boost normally, and it also provides me with the legendary effects of 25% more movement speed. So what is happening is, I want to come over to the choices of the vampiric powers. Now most of us will go with a 60% damage over time increase, and also the vulnerability increase and making enemies vulnerable. Similarly, we'll be going with vampiric curse to spread this around. And if you do have the spear point, you'll be going with ultimate cooldown reduction and some damage increase. Now, what is very interesting for a boss slaying build or like a boss killing build for this one is, I'm actually converting my bonus movement speed to attack speed. Now, it is hard to see at the moment. You can only see about 49% increase attack speed. And this gets even crazier when I have more movement speed because I become unstoppable. And it gets even crazier when I kill elites with a boost of 40 plus movement speed because of the boots. So any movement speed on the boots is translated into massively increased attack speed, which in return allows me to normal attack for more, and this also gives us damage reduction, it gives us chances to increase attack speed, and also it creates corpses. And this will allow us to do more damage with corpse explosion against single target or multiple target. So this is one of the biggest highlights for the build. Now in terms of sacrifices, I'm going with the repairs for the increased shadow damage, and here we're going with increased vulnerability damage. It is optional to go with a tankiness of 10% increased life, just so you get tankier, or you can go with the increase of critical strike damage. I usually prefer the increased life just to be safer, but if I'm going for the boss mode, I will have the increased critical damage because we're already dying against the boss. Now on the topic of getting tanky or getting, killing the boss. So here what I usually do is I usually unperk this one and go into Fortify, just because we have lucky hit procs, we want to get Fortify to be defensive in the high level dungeons. If you find yourself to be durable and also not really dying and wants to do more damage, it is possible to come back over here to go to the Creeping Darkness. Oh, I'm wasting some gold over here, but that's okay. So it is possible to come back over here to have the 15% chance to stun, which allows you to stagger the boss more to do more damage. It can also be considered as defensive over here as well. As you stun enemies, they won't do damage to you, right? So it's a personal choice between the two. If you want Fortify and you find yourself getting more Fortified, this is a really good one. Especially when you have the Fortify Paragon, damage reduction and also damage increase. Now briefly going over to the Paragons. So the biggest difference I think for the Paragons is ability and also flexibility for my Paragon tree. So one thing I want to notice is there are some Paragon glyphs that allows you to have some resistance, and around it you can have some armor and also additional resistance. It is nice, guys. Let's, for example, I'm taking this helmet off. I'll lose 40% poison resistance, and you can see that all of a sudden my resistance is not capped at poison. But notice I'm just missing 20% for poison, right? So the Paragon board allows me, which I have perked for you guys, to level 100. It allows us to adjust for this one. So look for the resistant perks. Coming over here, perking into this means I can change another stats into defensive or offensive. Now in terms of the glyph of choice, most of the glyphs are pretty straightforward. We're going with darkness with shadow damage over time. We're going with and this is actually a different one. So we're going with darkness over here, the shadow damage. And we're also going with scourge with shadow damage over time. Now here we have the Imbarber to give us more damage while healthy, and we also have Territorial to give us more close damage and also damage reduction. One of the variability I have is over here. If you're getting the Fortify perk that I talk about in the skill tree over here, which is this one, if you're getting the Fortify perk and you find yourself to be fortified a lot, then it is very good, guys, to go with the Untaunted. So you'll be getting more damage while fortified and getting damage reduction while fortified. But if you find yourself not going for the fortified, then it's okay to swap in for the control. And once you have the control, the arrangement will change a little bit. You will have to perk into more intelligence, but this will give you a variety of damage because you're not going for fortify, right? So that is the difference. So if I'm not going for fortify here, I'm going to put control and adjust my trace a little bit to go into the 25 into 40% intelligence. Now coming over to skill rotations. So right away, what you want to do is you want to start with the debuff of the Crypt and then go into Blood Mist. As you do Blood Mist, you'll be stacking armor to 60% or 66% stacks because of your legendary effects, right? And then you want to be spamming your Corpse Tendril, and also you want to be casting your Bone Shield or Bone Storm. And because you have the Decryptify to debuff enemies, you'll be lacking proccing to reduce your cooldowns. It is okay you don't have cooldowns, as long as you spam damage spells, your cooldowns will come back very quickly. So the more enemies there are, the better cooldowns you have. Always keep the decrypt buff on enemies. Usually I just spam it a lot, you can see over here. And of course, guys, make sure you cast Blood Mist to protect yourself when you're on low HP. Now, one of the ways I find myself to be dying in this build is that running towards enemies without any cooldowns. So I want to just, briefly talk about how you can die in this build. This is a tier 100, usually you don't have to worry too much. Because you're moving very fast, sometimes you get carried away. So notice I have no cooldowns. And here both of my defensive cooldowns are done, and also it's hard for me to trigger corpses right away. So this is when you don't want to engage. It's very rare you get into this moment, but if you do, I don't recommend going to elites in the higher level dungeons. So here I'm just running in. Just having Decrypt but without any procs won't give me lower cooldowns. So this is the downside, and that's how I died. Now against most bosses in the game, we don't have any problems. You can be spamming your Corpse Tendril to stagger the boss, you can be spamming your Blood Mist to be defensive and also offensive. After Blood Mist, you'll gain increased movement speed and also in return increased attack speed because of your vampiric powers. And together, just by spamming Corpse Tendril and Corpse Explosion and also Decryptify, you'll be doing tons of damage. Now because against most of the uber bosses or the unique bosses in the game, I tend to find our build is very powerful just by standing still. So sometimes I don't even need the Blood Mist, I just stand still casting Corpse Tendril and Corpse Explosion, and this will give you one of the best ways of doing damage. And it's very good for most content in the game. So over here I'll provide you guys with a replay of me clearing through tier 100 dungeon solo and also clearing through the boss. You can be doing the same ways for all the bosses in the game, including Duriel. Now you might be noticing behind me, there is a little, I can't actually see it. So behind me there is actually a little overlay. I have started using the Mobilityx overlay just to give myself a reminder of what timing the Hell Tide and also the World Boss is, because I tend to miss that sometimes. Now because it's the first time I was using it, I didn't know how to turn it off. So I had to hold down tab to turn it off. And I was like, oh no, I'm in a tier 100 solo and I couldn't turn it off. So if you see that in the replay and it's not off, you're wondering how come. So it's the first time I'm using the overlay to remind myself what's happening. And I didn't know. It was pretty silly of me. But yes, if you guys want to check out the overlay, it's actually pretty good. Because I'll be farming Hell Tide and also World Boss, this reminds me what's happening and keeps me track of, taking care of those activities so I don't miss out.
time to do that. My burden is too great.
If you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.